Bonjour à toutes et à tous les amis et bienvenue sur la chaîne YouTube de So Catch by Al. J'espère que vous allez bien, très heureux de vous retrouver aujourd'hui pour une nouvelle vidéo. Il s'agit d'une interview spéciale de Bobby Lashley et de Natalya, deux des superstars de la WWE que j'ai pu rencontrer lors de WWE Paris. Alors vous allez voir, pour cette interview, je n'étais pas tout seul, j'avais la chance d'avoir avec moi Axel et Aurélien, Bernard Collat et Lucas Charpio. On avait chacun 2 questions et comme j'ai trouvé que tout le monde avait posé des bonnes questions, toutes les questions étaient intéressantes, je vous ai laissé l'intégralité de notre rencontre avec les superstars. J'ai tout traduit, comme ça vous pouvez absolument tout voir. Comme d'habitude, si la vidéo vous a plu, n'hésitez pas à la liker et à vous abonner à la chaîne. Je vous laisse découvrir tout ça. Bon visionnage à tous. Ciao, ciao.
What do we do with our hands? See, look at these things. I got
that's
this.
cool.
It's for grip, so I
love
just sit
that.
there and play with it all the time.
Oh my gosh, where did you get that?
Amazon.
Because my mom had carpal. Sorry, are we so?
Oh, you guys want us?
Okay, I actually want to talk to you about that after this.
I'll give you one. I have an extra
Because my
one
mom
that's a
got
little
carpal
smaller.
tunnel surgery, and they're telling her to do that with a ball. She
Yeah.
could really. This is really cool.
It's this one, and then there's a squeeze one too. I have both of them.
I want that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're ready.
Just so I'm not nervous. Our minds.
So really happy to see you first. Thank you. Welcome home.
Thank you.
Hey.
Bobby, first question. How is it to work with a big guy like Omos?
One thing about me is when I first came into the wrestling business, when I first started, I was fortunate enough to go against like Booker, Show, Regal, Finley, all these different guys. So they just kind of took me under their wing and they kind of walked me through matches. And coming back now, that was the first thing that I started with the Hurt Business. Hurt Business was kind of like that old style that I first came in with. So we were trying to show like a different style of wrestling where we just kind of like be mean to people and beat people up. And that's what we were doing. So now I kind of find myself in the same role as some of those guys did back in the days with some of these newer guys coming up and have an opportunity to get in the ring with them. Somebody like Omos, the guy is a freaking nature. When you see him, he's the only person that I've ever been in the ring with that actually made me feel tiny. So I enjoy it. I love fighting. I love all that. Combat sports is just my life. So being a challenge like him, it was great, man. I find a way to pick him apart, break him down, and take him out. But now the feud is a little bit mushy right now because MVP's in there. So we're gonna see. There's a lot of good things to come with that feud.
I wanted to ask you, Bobby, because you wrestled at the Royal Rumble, Brock Lesnar. You wanted this match for so long. It was your dream match since you returned to WWE.
You're putting words in my mouth. But go ahead.
I just want to know how you felt about this match after it was done. What's your memory about this rivalry, working with Brock Lesnar?
Everybody's been saying that about this is my dream match. It hasn't been my dream match. It was a match that I heard from the beginning of the times of when I first came in. Everybody was like, Bobby, Brock, and it just kept going on and on and on and pestering. So I was like, it's something that needed to happen at some point in time. Did I get a chance to beat him up the way that I wanted to? No, but I did pin him. So that's always, there's one good thing and the rest is bad. Hopefully we get an opportunity to go in there again and actually really slug it out. Roman jumped in there to be a part of it because he wanted to make the match about him because he wants everybody to acknowledge him. But that match was not about him. So there's going to be another Brock and Bobby matchup. And I'll really be able to beat him up the way that I want to.
Amen.
I have a question for the both of you. Everybody says that having WrestleMania, a 2-night event, is really nice. What do you think about it as a performer?
I think two nights is the best. I think it's the way to go. I think it's just, it's so hard, especially with this world with, everybody's got shorter attention spans with social media and all that. To do a show that's 8 hours, it's hard to keep anyone's attention for 8 hours. But to do it across 2 nights, it actually gives more superstars opportunities and it allows the audience to be a little bit more focused.
Yeah, I agree with that also, and just that whole WrestleMania gala, that whole week is like, for us, it's like Super Bowl. When you go to Super Bowl, there's a Pro Bowl, there's all kinds of different events all throughout the week. So we just want to keep it going. All the fans are coming from around the world. Why not just give them more? give them more. We had NXT one night. We have 2 days of WrestleMania. I mean, it's now you get your money's worth because you have the whole week to do stuff.
My question for Natalya. You recently went to NXT. What advice can you give to young talents of WWE?
What advice? The most important thing I can give anyone is to find your passion. I think that's so important, and that's the secret weapon and the most important ingredient in succeeding in this. If you don't feel this in your heart and you're not passionate about this and you're not willing to put in the work, it's not something for the faint of heart. This is extremely hard, this career, and it's very grueling. It's very rewarding, but you have to love this. And if you don't feel it in your heart and you don't have that passion, this isn't the right place for you. And so for me, especially when I go to NXT, the one thing that I really look before anything is that passion. The passion will take you to the top.
So, question for you, Natty.
Damn, I'm not here. This is what it's gonna be. I'll go over here then.
My first was for you. So, you work a big part of your career alone. So, how is it to work with Jenna Belair as a team?
I love doing, I love diversifying. I loved managing. I loved working in tag teams. I love being on my own. I like being busy. And I think with Shayna, we actually are very similar. She's a submission specialist. I came from the dungeon. We both are very grounded. She's overall a really cool person to be around. She's very practical. She was the last student to train with Billy Robinson. She has a lot of passion for the industry, and it's really cool to work with her. She brings a lot to the table. And when going back to passion, she's somebody that just has a lot of passion for, what Bobby was saying, for combat sports. And you can feel that. You can see that in her work.
I have a question for both of you because you've been in this business for so many years. You've accomplished a lot of things. You're legends in WWE. I wanted to know, what advice would you give to a younger wrestler who wants to have the same longevity that you had in this business? That's a tough question.
To have longevity, I think you got to understand that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And that you have to pace yourself in order to do that. I mean, I was saying to Bobby the other day when I was there watching when the rope broke, and he did a back handspring out of the ring.
Claymore. Oh! I'm doing moonsaults now.
He's doing moonsaults. But he paces himself. He takes such good, immaculate care of his body, and he takes every day, one day at a time. Because when you think about it, it's I've been wrestling since I was 18, which is over 20 years. And so for me to be able to do this at this level, just like Bobby, and for us to be competing and performing at this high level, it takes a lot of attention to detail, one day at a time, and understanding that it's a marathon, not a sprint.
You always hear that term, work smarter. And as you get older, you start working smarter. I'm a gym rat.
Yes.
And so is Natty. But now that we're a little bit older, we got to start kind of figuring out that a little different. Before, when I was I'd be working out every day as hard as I can, breaking myself down. Now it's a little bit different. I had a big match like that match with Omos. He threw me, almost killed me. So I had to go out there and, rehab is really important. So it's a balance. At the beginning, you just work and you don't think, just go. Now, as you think a little bit more and work a little bit, kind of mix it up a little bit. But the longevity is just taking care of your body and being smart with the business.
Bobby, I have a question for you this time. You had the chance to work with Goldberg, a real legend in this business. What's the feeling?
Goldberg?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of wrestling across the board. I'm one of those guys that you're not going to hear too many you're probably never going to hear anything negative come out of my mouth, especially about anybody that's been in the business. But I like Goldberg. I mean, Goldberg's such a big name. We know Goldberg, he comes out there and Goldberg is Goldberg. So to me, it was a challenge because having a match with him and then just being out there and just seeing kind of the spectacle that goes around Goldberg. I enjoyed it. And if Goldberg ever needs to come back, I'm one of those guys that will raise my hand and take it anytime. Because I like to go against anyone. I like to fight anyone.
Love the challenge.
There's so many, I love the challenge. And there's so many different styles that you can get in the ring with. That's what's cool about the roster now. I was in a roster before where there was a bunch of different guys. Now moving into this roster, people ask me, what's the difference between the roster? it's just different styles. I just think there's so many cool styles that I get to be in the ring with. You know, you have somebody like a Ricochet, and then you have somebody like an Omos, and you have somebody like a Drew. These are three completely different styles. So it's always cool to go out there and have an opportunity to just kind of see these different styles. And then you have the Goldberg style, and you have the Brock style. So I like it. I'm a kid in a candy store. You know, I'm 21 years old now, so everything's exciting to me.
One question for Ashley. Your association with MVP ended recently. What do you remember about the whole business experience?
I remember MVP lashing onto my coattails and making a whole bunch of money without winning a single wrestling match. That's what I remember about that. Kind of a sore subject right now. Don't want to talk about it. But the time that we did with the Hurt Business, like, I enjoyed the Hurt Business. I enjoyed everything about the Hurt Business. It was just a different style that we brought to the table, and I thought that everybody in that group kind of needed that little boost. Shelton Benjamin, you guys all know Shelton. He's a legend. He's amazing in the ring. So is Cedric, amazing in the ring. But they don't get their opportunities. When we brought the Hurt Business together, it was like, I always say this, when
Do I need to go over there and body slam someone?
You know, one of my favorite sayings is sometimes you have to believe in somebody else's belief in you. And that was kind of MVP at the time. He believed in myself, he believed in Sheldon, and he believed in Cedric. And that's how all of us rose to the top. I mean, we won the tag titles, we won the world title, we had it all. So it was a cool time, but sometimes things change.
Et puis on n'oublie pas, comme d'habitude, on se donne rendez-vous sur la chaîne AB1 pour Raw tous les mercredis à 20h50 et SmackDown tous les samedis à 20h50 en compagnie de Christophe Ejus et Philippe Chéreau.